Good morning, Carla Hartley here. I am going to be speaking with you this morning of August 11th, 2020 on the use of forensic accountants in business valuation proceedings in California family law courts. Let's start with the primary, world-famous, #1 scare tactic always used to prevent a lesser advantaged spouse from getting an attorney or hiring a forensic accountant. Oh my God, it's going to be so expensive. We're going to spend thousands of dollars. We don't have thousands of dollars. Oh, it's going to ruin the business. It'll put me out of business. This is a scare tactic. You need to recognize that it is a scare tactic. Some of you are like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to use that scare tactic. I'd suggest that you not do so, but decisions you make in your life are up to you. So my suggestion is if you're hearing this scare tactic, chances are it is being uttered by the party that has a good interest in the business, who plans to walk away with the business, and who really wants to pay you as little as possible for his or her share of the business. The most recent thing I had involving this was a TikTok account that has become very successful and is generating a lot of money. It started as a hobby in the backyard. And, oh, it's not worth anything. Oh my God, a forensic accountant. Oh, terrible, terrible idea. Yeah, right. So, can we scale the work of the forensic accountant? Yes, we can scale it in terms of price. We can scale it in terms of scope. If you are an attorney, an experienced attorney who's got a good relationship with a few different forensic accountants, very often you can talk to them about just how far in depth we need to go and what kind of cost are we exactly looking at. I've had an expert look at tax returns for the parties for the past 3 years for a very minimal amount, less than $4,000, and it paid off hugely. It paid off hugely a couple different times because a couple times it's like, okay, both parties are willing to accept that value because really there aren't a lot of perquisites running through the business and there's not a lot of hinky stuff in the income tax returns. So that saved the parties a lot of money because we didn't have to have the forensic going through every single bank account and every single deposit for the business and all of the deductions and stuff like that. But sometimes that initial peak that the forensic takes says, look, this guy's running $100,000 in perquisites, or this woman is running, all sorts of money through the business to pay her family to not perform work in the business. So that becomes income available for support. That becomes income that is going to be generated by the business over time, and that means that increases the value of the business. That is one of the primary factors. The projected income, cash flow, gross receipts, minus expenses, minus legitimate expenses, becomes what we are looking at for the valuation of the business. When we've done the peak and then have done the deep dive, it has invariably paid off with vastly, vastly increased valuation of the business. So you want to look at that. So you can scale what your forensic is going to do. And I think people need to know that. Finally, I want to discuss that there are a lot of moving parts in a business valuation, but it depends on the business. I'm not going to do that deep dive, but this is cheaper. It is cheaper to hire a forensic attorney than having two attorneys who cannot testify, argue ad nauseum for a couple of years, and then at the end, the judge is saying, well, why don't I have a value for the business? We don't have a value for the business. The judge has a duty to distribute the community estate. We need a value. This is frustrating to the court. This is, it should be embarrassing for the attorneys that are walking into court without a value for the business. So plan ahead, plan ahead, plan ahead. I also want to say in closing, because I'm really going to pick this up, the income available for support, in a later series on business. The income available for support is like the bonus for a business valuation. It is the second thing that we often and most commonly ask our experts to do. While you're doing the valuation of the business, give us a number for the income available for support so we can look at what the spousal and or child support order should be with these parties. And yes, you can do a business value. Well, you can't do a business valuation in a parentage case. And that's not something that we usually see both parties in business together if they're not married. But you can do income available for support in a parentage case from the other side's business. That's as far as I'm going on this today. I hope you are planning to have a good week. My next discussion should be, do you want a joint expert or do you want to have your own expert? We'll talk about that next episode, and have a good day.